Hi, Jamie. Thank you so much for joining me this podcast episode. Really appreciate it. How are you today?
I'm fabulous, Russell. How are you today?
Yeah, doing great. Thank you so much for coming to the show. And yeah, I have like interesting topic to talk about with you, like how to create a system for our businesses so we can run without ourselves. Like obviously you learned the hard way. I learned to learn a hard way, like not creating the system for our business early on. So yeah, before we get to that, I'd love to know more about your story. How did you become an entrepreneur yourself and starting businesses?
Sure, absolutely. I years ago was doing some consulting with a guy who hired me to become his chief operations officer.
Mhm.
And it was a new real estate concept here in the United States. It was residential real estate. And I created all the systems in the background of how this company was going to run. And it was not like a normal real estate office. So we had systems in place for new ways for people to observe things and new ways for the agents to run what they were doing.
Yeah.
We created a franchise. So I literally wrote the book on how the franchises were going to operate. However, we started the company in 2002. In 2007, I was diagnosed with a massive brain tumor.
Oh, wow. Sorry to hear
And
that.
yeah, it was one of those situations where time kind of stops and you're like, what the heck is going on? And the doctors told me that I had 6 months to live or a 20% chance of surviving the operation, and that I needed to go on immediate bed rest. So I literally walked out of the company, took care of my health. And while I was out, while I had systems on how the franchises were to run, how the agents were to run, I didn't have systems on how the corporation was to run
Mhm.
because I was there. I was used to running it. I didn't need a system because I did it.
Yeah.
Well, what I hadn't thought about was when I had to step out, the business failed. Within the 6 months I was taking care of my health, I did survive, so I beat the odds. But the company failed. So that was the first time I realized as entrepreneurs, we don't think about replacing ourselves. We don't think about stepping out and building the business around our life versus our life around the business. And that's when I became really, really passionate about creating systems,
Mhm.
about creating the ability to step out of my business and have the business continue to run, the opportunity to have the business run 24/7 while I'm sleeping, still make money, all of those sorts of things, which you dream about when you create a business as an entrepreneur, but very few understand how to put that in place.
Yeah, that's great. Like you struggled through and you found a way like this is not working. I need to like make changes to my business, how I run day-to-day activity, and have to have the system where without me involved in a business, or if I have to sell it, someone can pass it over to, or like someone can manage it. So like how can someone like create and such a kind of system like without their involvement, the business can run. So you probably in a leave for 6 months or a year, the business can run itself and it can continuously grow. So what have you learned while you're creating your business right now, where is at the moment the system is created? What's the difference from the first company to right now?
Sure. Well, let me tell you another quick story. Last year, I've built all the systems, I've built the company, I've got two team members.
Mhm.
So it's a small company and they're both part-time. So
Okay.
really it's like 2.2 people, including me full-time, right?
Right.
So last year in March, I was bit by a dog and broke this hand and ended up with a bacterial infection that put me in the hospital for 4 days.
Oh,
Um, and the business continued running.
yeah.
6 months after that, I was in a car accident I don't know. Just started some red light therapy. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a big scar here. I shattered my wrist 7 places. When the airbag went off, it shattered my wrist. So another 6 months of not being able to do business the way I did, was in the hospital, was under recovery, and ended up having my best year ever. So now that I've got systems in place, I could step out, I could take care of my health, I could take care of the things I needed. And the first company, we had 30 employees. You would think that me stepping out would be fine. There were still 30 people there. This company, there's only 1.5 that are running it while I'm gone, and it still worked. So to answer your question, one of the first steps that I do with all of my clients is I have them go through what I call an activity tracker. And it's just recording every 15 minutes what they did for those 15 minutes. And I have them track that for 2 weeks. And I do have a tracker that I can give you guys as a free gift if you'd like. So when they track this, they track what it is they're doing. Is it something that is repetitive, that they do send the same email to different people in different times? If they had a full org chart, what would it look like? Whose role would that be? Would it be the social media manager, the assistant, the janitor, right? Whoever's role it would be. And is it a revenue producing activity, or is it a fulfillment activity, or is it an administrative bookkeeping, things like that type of activity? Once you track that, you start to see what the processes are, what the steps are. And then I also have them go through what I call the customer journey. So when a customer comes in as a new lead, what should the steps be that are followed? So step by step. Once you know and understand those bits of data, it's easy to start creating the process and the system. And I use a software called Keep, which is sales and marketing automation software. And we build those systems for our clients, or we teach them how to build them for themselves.
Right. Yeah, that's a great way to create a system. Like you documented everything, like what needs to be doing in order to like a fulfillment, from like onboarding a client to delivering the client results, and your system in place, so all of your employees knows exactly what to do if new clients comes in, or if they need to be fulfilling from beginning to end. So
Absolutely.
so that's like a great way to create. A lot of business owners, like they don't trust their employees. Probably this is the why they could not scale, or they could not scale or create any kind of system, because they wouldn't trust them, like onboarding a new client, wouldn't trust them like doing day-to-day activity or fulfilling their services, or whatever they're actually doing for the client. The reason is like they're micromanaging them, right?
They are. I also find a lot of them, it's not so much that they don't trust, it's that they don't have time to train them properly. And so one of the things, once we identify what the pieces are and where the bottlenecks are, what I have somebody do, and I was a master at this. To stop and train somebody, it'll take 20 minutes. To do it myself, it'll take 2. I'll just do it myself, right? And we do that over and over and over. One of the greatest pieces of technological advancement, I think, as far as entrepreneurs and scaling, is use Loom or loom.com, which is videoing your screenshots. So as you do something. So what I've taught my clients to do is literally do it, take the 2 minutes to do it, but videotape what you're doing. And that becomes a training tape for your clients. So you don't have to stop and take the 20 minutes to teach them. You do it one time, you video it, and then that becomes the library.
Yeah, that's a great thing to do. And also like having a team and train them in a weekly basis, which is like a great way to do that. Like a certain things changes for certain clients and certain obstacle you have to go through every single time. The business evolves all the time. So like a lot of business owners, like a small team like yourself, like a 2 people, 2.5 people, you working in an organization and still able to grow your company last year, even though you was in hospital bed. So what would be like ideal for someone? Like, do you have operation manager for like your team, or like do you have to have just like who will be like a leader of the organization? Let's say it's like a 5 people team or 10 people team, like a small company. Do you actually specifically have someone to like manage all of the other team members after you, like as a founder or CEO?
Ultimately, yes. When you get to 5 to 10, yes. As you start small with a part-time VA, for instance, that can handle a lot of the administrative stuff. And depending upon what your company does, mine's a digital marketing agency. So I have a programmer part-time.
Right.
So, and that's what I have, is a VA and a programmer. And then my husband is a copywriter. So he's copy. He's not really a full-time employee of the company.
Okay.
So you have to, when you are looking at that tracker and you're identifying whose role it would be, that becomes, my VA does all of my social media. Sometimes somebody really needs a social media manager, but once you identify on the tracker what the role, what the jobs are that are taking a lot of your time, that is not the thing that you are a genius at. It's not where you're serving your clients in your highest and best capability.
Yeah.
Those things are the ones you want to outsource first. And that helps you to identify what are the skill sets that I'm looking for in the person that I'm hiring. So is it a VA that can handle social media? Is it a social media manager that's all they do? They don't handle my calendar or responding to emails or doing any of that sort of stuff.
Right.
So the tracker really helps you out to identify where it is. And if anybody wants the one I've put together, if you go to tracker.keepitssimplestrategies.info, I'll be happy to give that to you as a gift.
Yeah, thank you for that. So for like a small organization, and let's say like as a coach and consultant nowadays, like they tend to be work on their own, and it's totally rely on themselves, like the business itself. Probably they have like the system, they have like online courses already, and people can actually use it. But if they actually don't do prospecting, if they don't do the strategy session, their business is out of business. If something wrong happened with them, they probably hospitalized, or probably had like something bad happen in their family or relationship, and they have to take off, like their income is going to take off, right? So how can someone like create a system where the lead generation is there, their onboarding is there, they can bring on clients?
Yep, sure, absolutely. And we do that all the time within Keep. So building a funnel that has some sort of opt-in, similar to my tracker I just promoted to you.
Yeah.
That gives somebody the opportunity to start building their list. From that, it then sends them to a small product that they can gain trust in you as an expert, as a coach, and a low priced, under $50 type program. And then from that, we tend to send them to what we call the free coaching call or strategy call. So the system can be constantly, and then we use Facebook ads, we use Facebook groups, we use different types of lead generate and other Instagram, LinkedIn, different pieces to drive the traffic into those lead generation opportunities, which is constantly building interest. And when somebody gets to the point where they're scheduling and then follow-ups, so that it's not just that initial email, it's an email a week or an email every other day, that they're being educated on opportunities that you've helped people change their lives, that you've made a difference in something they're doing. Case studies, testimonials, things like that. And then it's building so that it's just the coaching, the strategy call that you need to take. Now, if you've got that working all the time, if you need to step out for a week or two to deal with situations in your life, it's not going to fall flat on your face. You'll still have that momentum. You'll still have things building, and you'll still have a full calendar when you come back and are ready to take those calls.
Yeah, that's great. So like I have like a funnel system in place, so people comes in and they get educated themselves, and also like they can buy low ticket product and build that grain and trust. Then obviously you're gonna send out more emails to book a call for a strategy session, and from there you have like a ongoing funnel of client acquisition as problem solving sequences is there, and
Sure.
you can train someone like for like a commission basis as a sales team, like they can take over the calls, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Is that you do like it for your business, similar to like what you just said, or like it's doing different?
Absolutely. I do have some people that I pull in as sales team when I need to step out. Currently, I take most of my calls just because I like that touchy-feely opportunity. And it helps me know and understand. Now, I have clients and I work with a lot of speakers, authors, and coaches, some of which you have their books on your bookshelf. So when we're building those kinds of programs, a lot of times they've got complete courses that they don't have to talk to them. We can build it so that between videos and emails, people are convincing themselves and they're buying the program, and it's a do-it-yourself video course. So they literally don't have to be involved in the process as it goes through.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. A lot of people like they coach and they consultant and they didn't build a system, and I know like for a fact they're losing out a lot of money on the table because they couldn't show up because of the calls. They had something going on in the personal life, professional life, and they couldn't cope, and that's why they're losing a lot of business. But like you said, if you have like a funnel and system in place, then obviously someone else, you can hire a BA and you can train them. They can take your strategy session as well. They can pay them hourly or commission basis as well. And that way works really well. So coming to your point, like building such a kind of business that creates the value of like selling. So if you want to sell your business in some point of your life, you can do that. Also, like you can pass it over to your family, like your husband or your partner, right?
Absolutely. And I've worked with business brokers. If you're still doing a lot of work, you're not in a position to sell your business yet. If you've replaced yourself with either systems or people, then you're in a position to sell the business.
Yeah, a lot of us like create a business and we never think about selling a business, but eventually life comes into place. Yeah, like you have to have like an exit plan because things could change, your circumstance can change. You need a lot of money for certain things. If you're diagnosed with a certain kind of illnesses, your medical insurance not covering. If you have like asset, you build the business, you can take out like money from an investor, and also from like you can bring on like sell it or like get a loan or something. Like when people actually see it as a real business, then you get like a real value for it.
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes people just get bored. They've built it, it's done, and now they need to pass it on and move on to something else. I have 5 companies currently. So because I get not bored, but I need a new challenge. So I start another company. The other ones are still running and still successful, but I'm building a new one.
Yeah. It's an entrepreneur, right? Like if someone is a serial entrepreneur, they have to go for like one to another, right? They have to like a few things going on at the same time, which is like keep them excited every single time. Like I have like one business that I'm doing my podcasting, and also I like to invest in other tech startups. So this is what I do for angel investing perspective. I don't like to do like a day-to-day activities, but I prefer like being an angel investor, like investing side. So when I like go for like angel investing, I look for actually is a business is not like a one-man show. Like they create an business to sell. So this is my exit plan. Obviously, as an investor, you look for like exit plan when the business goes to 10x, 20x, the wherever you invested in, you want to make an exit. The business have to be sellable. Otherwise, you can't like get the money out.
Exit. You can't get your money back out.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, Jamie, thank you so much for sharing the insight of your business, how you built your business and created the system is runs without you right now and gives you great income. So those who are listening, if anyone interested to learn more about you, your business, where is the best place to find you?
Sure. You can email me directly at jamie@misyte.com, or you can go to our keepitsimple.strategies.info or my site, misyte.com, to see a little more. My site is my digital marketing agency. Keep It Simple Strategies is my training company. So the two work together.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing those. So I wish you best of luck, your business, your career. I hope you have like a great health with future as well. I know you had been through a lot.
Thank you,
Recover and
Russell.
everything.
Fabulous. And thank you for allowing me on the show.
Yeah, no problem. The pleasure was mine. So that's a wrap, guys. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast episode. I hope you enjoyed it, got some value from it. So those who's listening, if anyone interested to learn more about Jamie, go check out our website and reach out to her if you need any kind of help. So until then, I'll talk to you in the next episode. Take care.